Hey, seventh graders. It's a nice sunny fall day after that big windstorm yesterday. You guys won't see this till Tuesday, but I'm in the school on Monday making your video. All right, so today I'm going to move away from integers and we're going to add and subtract decimals, all right? So decimals, there's one important rule, and I want you to write this rule down. Line up the points, all right? The most important rule we have today, okay? I'll show you what I mean by that when we're adding and subtracting decimals, right? So we'll say we had 3.4, and we're going to add 1.2. Now we're not going to add those sideways like that. We're going to write them on top of each other, right? So when I do that, I'm going to write my 3.4, and kind of like other things I've taught you, we're going to draw a line up and down through the point, okay? So when you write your other number, make sure your point is on that line, okay? So 1's on the left, 2's on the right. All right, then we add them together just like we normally add. 4 plus 2 is 6, 3 plus 1 is 4, and your point comes straight down the line, all right? So you might say, well, that makes sense. You have to do it that way, right? Yes. Where they get tricky is when you have a different number of points, decimals. So something like this, 1.26 plus 3.5, all right? So here's where it gets tricky, because everyone wants to do this. And then add them up. And you will get the wrong answer. Why? Because look at the way your point is. It's not in a straight line, is it? So we're going to fix this. That's a mess. We don't want that. I'm going to write 1.26. We're going to write these big. We're going to write these neat. I'm going to draw a line through the point. And I like to put the point first then before I even write the number. So I have a 3 in front of the point and a 5 after the point. Now what I do is if there's a space here, I put a 0. Hold your space, okay? So then I get 6, 5 plus 2 is 7, point and point is point, 3 and 1 is 4, 4.76, okay? Or 4 and 76 hundredths, remember that? 4 and 6 tenths. One space is tenths, 2 is hundredths. I could rewrite this as a fraction. 4 and 6 tenths. There's one number after the point. 4 and 76 hundredths if there's two numbers after the point, right? Not going to worry about that yet, but just know that I'm going to keep doing that just to kind of keep that going in your head, okay? One number after the point is tenths. Two numbers after the point is hundredths. All right? Okay. So this also is the same for subtraction. (8.4 minus 1.25), right? Or 8 and 4 tenths minus 1 and 25 hundredths. And write it really big. I'm going to draw a line through my point. I'm going to put my next point. And we got a space here, I'm going to put a 0. And this is a subtraction problem, right? Okay. Biggest mistake. 0 minus 5 is 5. Wrong. Can't be. Can't take anything away from 0. So remember, we have to borrow from the 4. Comes a 3. Back to second grade. 10 minus 5 is 5. 3 minus 2 is 1. Point, point, point. 8 minus 1 is 7. 7 and 15 hundredths, right? If you want to write it as a fraction. There's your answer, okay? So make sure your points are in the straight line. Don't do this. And then try to subtract, okay? It's not going to work. It's going to be a mess. Your points are not in a straight line. Okay? All right. So this also works for negative numbers. We're going to line up our points just like normal. Draw my line. Now with this one, I have to decide, are these the same signs or different? Same signs means we actually add them. Keep the sign, because they're both the same, right? Same signs, you add and keep the sign, all right? So those things we just learned with the negatives also work with the decimals. Look at one more like that. (4.9) plus negative 1.3. Well, we got to fix it first, right? There's something to fix. Fix it. Oh, we have different signs. That's a positive, that's a negative. That means we're going to subtract, right? Line up my points in a straight line, right? Here's my points. 6, 3. Now I have to decide, is my answer positive or negative? 4.9 is stronger than 1.3. So my answer is going to be positive 3.6. All right, so that's kind of a lot in one day. We're adding and subtracting decimals, and I'm going to throw in a couple negatives at the end and see if we figure those out, okay? Just do them the same as the integers. Use that chart and figure it out. All right, 7th grade, you guys have a great day.